Good morning, Solaris 7. Calgary Battletech brings you Uncivil Discourse with your hosts, Brett, Lee, and commentary from Jacque. On today's episode of the podcast, we're here to talk about little tabletop robot dudes. We've discovered that filling them with gunpowder and lighting them on fire, while it makes the gameplay more explosive, also makes the gameplay quite a bit shorter. 3 out of 10 participants would not recommend unless you have good homeowner's insurance.
Wait, what? Did you farm out this rating this week or something?
I may have tried to. And now, with your regularly scheduled discourse. Well, folks, we are really coming down the line here. Game 8, our last one before playoffs. We have some shoe-ins for sure, but not everything is set in stone. We might see some movement again this week, some matches that can really shake things up.
That's right. For example, we no longer have any undefeated teams.
Biggest upset this week was the Shitehawks. They fly away with a win. Looks like at least one of the feathered stables can store a victory, folks.
All right, that's going to take us into the skill spends for this week. And almost half the stables didn't get their spends in on time, or at all, or tried to submit ones that weren't valid, so we'll have to get those in for playoffs, but they're going to miss Game 8. Carstairs Stables, awesome, picks up Combat Wisdom. That might have been a priority last week. Ghost Legion, Wolf Trap picks up Anticipation. Killer Bunnies, Shadowhawk is going to be gunning a little bit better now. The Macross Stables Warhammer also picks up Gunnery. And the Merrick Marauders Archer picks up Gunnery. Oh, and the Executive Outcome Griffin also picks up Gunnery. First Clovis Lancers Rifleman, Clan salvages one of the ERPPCs. 55th Shadow Division, the Kikata picks up Favorite Weapon Clan ERPPC. Crimson Ronin Atlas picks up Mountaineer, as does the Cavalier Commandos Thunderbolt. Cavalier Commandos Trebuchet is going to clan salvage that LRM. And the Draconis Spirit Wolverine picks up Point Blank, while their Thunderbolt picks up Pathfinder. Hubris Inc. Cataphract picks up Anticipation, and Azus picks up Bribery. The last spend that came in is the Orion from Clan Cobra Chickens with Lost Tech.
Thanks, Brett. That really does give us all the information we were looking for on the skill spends, and the not skill spends, and the skill spends in error. With the last of the skill points allocated, and just so you're aware, if you didn't get your skill spends in for Game 8, they are going to be available for the playoffs. Just get your skill spends in before the end of the year, so we can get them applied for the first game of the playoffs. Now, on that note, we can also look at the playoff situation and just concentrate on playing on our games.
Well, when it comes to skill spends, like the 20th century great Porky Pig would say, that's all, folks. It's going to be interesting with the final game. All the skill spends in, all the stables are skilled. How well is it going to work out? That should be the question. Once more, unto the playoffs.
All right, let's take a look at what the games played out last week. Our first game that we have coming up, the Killer Bunnies hip-hop along the road in the hills, looking for some chickens to bop. However, those dastardly cobras sneak up and bite them twice for a 2-0 Clan Cobra Chicken win. Jacque, I hear you were on site for that one. You care to elaborate a bit?
Oh, yeah, I was there. I was hoping to see the Cobra Chickens go down, but it seemed that fate had other plans. Final score was 2-0 for the Chickens. And from the get-go, the Cobra Chickens did not take a single initiative. They could not seize that initiative all game. First exchange of fire, it was a reach out and touch someone from the Orion to the Zeus with a solid slug from the LBX saying, "Hi, we're here." Next few turns was a bunch of inbound and outbound fire that I could simply say was a slap fight. Not a lot of connections in it. Turns 5 and 6, the Cobra Chickens, it's like they went to sleep or their gunnery circuits were just completely shot. They could not hit worth a thing, whereas the Killer Bunnies, they seized the momentum. They went in, they stomped on the chickens. It seemed that the chickens were going to be on the ground and everything to go, but then the tables turned. The Grand Dragon for the Killer Bunnies decided it was going to try and Goomba stomp the Awesome when the Awesome propped itself up and said, "I don't think so, Tim." Double PPC shot to the head. Pristine Grand Dragon down on the ground, missing the head. The Zeus, who had already taken an autocannon 10 hit to the head, had the rest of the structure vaporized along with its pilot from a meager medium laser, dropping it to the ground. The rest of the mechs were targeting that particular Zeus, so they essentially reduced it to atoms. That's when the whistle blew for time called. 2-0 for the Cobra Chickens. It was a fluke. It was a fluke. These guys are not going to make the playoffs. I don't care what anybody says. Cobra Chickens are done.
Pretty sure, Brett, you and I would have made some money, or at least I would have made some money on that game. Killer Bunnies to have lost 2 basically pristine mechs in just 2 matches. Just when the tide was starting to look good for them, it just all comes crashing down. Bad luck for the Rabbits. Good luck for the Clan Cobra Chickens, who do have the opportunity to sneak into the playoffs, possibly even into the A side if they place properly. Either way, their game isn't over yet, despite what Jacque is saying.
On to game number 2. Swooping in over the Plains Lakes, we see a Shitehawk victory over the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. That's right. Shitehawks win. 2-1 in this nail-biting first victory of the season match for them. Congratulations to the Shitehawk for taking down the undefeated Jezebels.
It was definitely not the most turn-filled game, but it looked like a lot of really well-played moves by both the Jezebels and the Shitehawks. And in the end, all it does is take 1 or 2 good shots to determine a winner in a game like that.
Shitehawks win! Shitehawks win! Shitehawks win! Lucky break for the rookie team, taking down one of the undefeated teams in the league. Good on you guys. Good showing.
Game number 3, we see a long shadow cast on the Mountain Lakes today, folks, as the Red Sun sets. 4-0 victory for the 55th Shadow Division over the Red Sun Irregulars.
Man, the 55th Shadow Division, he took them out back by the hills and just beat him with the ugly stick. The Red Suns Irregulars, I thought were going to stand up a lot stronger against the 55th Shadow Division, but in the end, I think they got to him. I think they paid somebody off. Some stuff was mixed in with their morning gruel, and for whatever reason, they just fell apart.
Red Suns Irregulars, 4-0 loss. Should change their name to the Redheaded Stepchildren. Oh, that was merciless. Once again, the Wallabies keep their domination going. Is anybody going to stop these guys? You know, we're not going to live it down if a northern team wins the league. I mean, come on, teams, pick it up.
Game number 4, we see the Wooded Hills won't keep these boys down. Coming straight out of Cavalor, these thugs lay a beat down on the Macross Stables. 2-0 victory goes to the Cavalor Commandos this week.
Climbing into the top 8. Way to go, Dave. We look forward to seeing you in the playoff rounds.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Cavalor Commandos are the team to watch. Slow start, but now they're coming out full guns blazing. These guys are definitely going to make the final 8, and I would not be surprised if they take the trophy. That's the bottom line. They're going to take it.
For game number 5, warning shots fired, and more shots fired in the river basin this week. Ringing out autocannons aplenty, the Crimson Ronin and the Einherjar duke some fisticuffs, but like 2 drunks outside a tavern, they fail to connect with just about anything.
Yeah, that's right. This was our only game this week that turned out to be a tie. And while the fireworks were impressive, nobody was able to score a kill. 0-0 time game when the time expired. It's a rarity, but it does happen.
You know what? It wasn't for lack of trying. All these shots, Einheljar blasts away, scoring a critical hit against the Crimson Atlas, clips the Gauss rifle, and the damage didn't stack up. 0-0 tie. Each team gets the point. No kills for, no kills against. I mean, can't request a better outcome than that.
1 point to make. It was almost a 1-0 win for the Einherjar without even a shot being fired when the Atlas fell over walking through a puddle of water and just about flooded its own torso.
Yeah, that Atlas was having a really bad day. When that Gauss rifle went up, everybody around the table was saying, oh, 1-0 victory, here we go, till they started counting it up, and that torso had 1 point internal structure left.
Well, it's an Atlas. It's death incarnate. It's hard to kill.
On to game number 6. This match brought to you by a sock full of quarters. While I had a fantastic time sitting down with Chris, we had some good chats and a great afternoon. The Ghost Legion did beat the Dracona Spirits 4-0.
You're making moves, Brett. You're making moves, but it's all going to be for naught. I'm not sure who was playing this game, Brett. You moved more in this match than you've done all season long. That gunslinger even slipped in behind the stalker. How on earth does that happen?
Gunslinger, rear of stalker, point blank range. I'm speechless. There are no words. There are no words.
And on that note, we'll slip up to game number 7. Merrick Marauders go marauding in the foothills. I think I saw them roll out the old barrel for the first Clovis Lancers to grab a hold of and take Jacque's old place bent over it. I think I even saw the rifleman glow from 2 arenas over as Cat blazed away and miscalculated, then hit the shutdown.
Yeah, it was a great match. Matt played phenomenally well. He had me on the ropes quite a few times where I was very nervous of what I was going to do for the next round. He made 2 mistakes, only 2, the entire game. I thought I was done for. His Devastator, even though it's not the 2 Gauss rifle variant, 2 autocannon 10s and 2 large lasers is completely not something you could ignore. The only problem is his dice were rolling terrible. A lot of his shots hitting the hill around the legs of my archer instead of actually connecting with the archer. And then when he did get the opportunity to get in there, I just moved around into some trees and got out of the way. His Wolverine, which was doing a great job of hunting down my archer and my stalker, he just ended up moving in a situation where he didn't have enough defensive modifier to stop me from kicking his center torso in, which is exactly what my awesome did. Actually, it wasn't even my awesome, sorry. It was my stalker. 17-point kick, center torso, cored him out.
4-0 for the Marauders. Paid actors. That's all I got to say. The opposing team, it wasn't the Lancers. These were paid actors. That's the only way you can come up with the result that you did from the rifleman shutting down because of overheating. No, the rifleman pilot's a heck of a lot smarter. He's too angry to die. That's why I know it wasn't the right one. Paid actors. That's all it was. These were paid actors.
In one of our custom arenas, the Winter Wonderland sees the executive outcome come hunting for some rogues this week. I'm not sure how many games the executive have played on the standard maps, but it's nice to see our custom maps getting used.
This is a game we were very highly anticipating, what we thought would be the game of the week. And I think it was. It might even been the game of the year. 2 of our top contenders going head-to-head with a 3-2 final score. And I'm probably the most likely one to be 100% right this year. And I know that's not true, but I made at least 50,000 C-bills on this one as well.
You know, Lee, if you talk to your wife, you're never right, so it doesn't really matter. Executive outcome victory, clipping the wings off the other undefeated team this season. Rogues go down. Good fight. It's good to see a nice clean match, even match. I mean, 3-2. Not a high scoring, not a runaway. Could have gone either way with that score. More movement for the playoffs.
Our final game this week in Arena 12, the Pavement Experience. This arena hasn't seen a whole lot of battle this season, but that's about to change as the gents from Carstairs throw down with Mackenzie's Hooper Sink.
Oh man, this match was going so well, and it was so close with so much violence. And then 5 mechs die in 2 turns, and it shows the downside of combat wisdom. Carstairs Battlemaster has this skill, it lets you force your opponent to reroll any shot to the head. However, it was the awesome that ate that gauze round this game. It was only the one shot that hit the awesome. Pristine mech, head gone.
This game is a classic example of the Murphy's Law of combat. No battle plan survives contact with the enemy. Good skill buy, wrong mech. Hindsight is always 20/20. 4-2 victory for the Huber Sink.
All right, that's going to take us into the awards of the week. Jacque, take it away.
Oh, this one has got to be an interesting one. It's definitely going to be a double whammy from the Clan Cobra Chicken versus Killer Bunnies.
Do you wish to delete?
Deleted. Thank you for playing. For that double PPC shot to the head. That awesome is just getting some amazing kills in. I mean, up against the 55th Shadow Division, double strike kill to the center torso and a headshot. Next game versus the Bunnies, double headshot. Now, I know these boys, I've been saying they ain't going to make the playoffs, but they're going to make it interesting, especially if that awesome keeps getting some of these spectacular shots in. That's going to be my only award for this week, guys.
All right, let's take a moment to break things up with some standings. So is everyone standing? Okay, you can sit back down. And let's see how everyone's favorite stables are positioned going into the final round before playoffs. 55th Shadow Division, Merrick Marauders, Hoopers Inc., Riston's Rogues, and the Executive Outcome will finish in the top 5 positions. That pretty much is without saying. However, the order will change depending on Week 8 games. 6th position, currently Blitzkrieg Jezebels with a 3-win, 1-loss, 3-tie record.
In Week 8, a tough test awaits the Blitzkrieg Jezebels, as they have a matchup against one of the league's elites in the Riston Rogues. A win will see the Jezebels hold on to 6th place. A tie would guarantee that the Jezebels will finish either 6th or 7th, depending on the Cavalier Commandos, who would hold the tiebreaker with the Jezebels if they won their final game and the Jezebels tie.
The Jezebels' loss will leave them watching the scoreboard hoping for one of the following situations to occur. A Ghost Division loss or tie, Cavalier Commandos loss or tie, or a Clan Cobra Chicken and First Clovis Lancers tie. The Jezebels will finish somewhere between 6th and 9th.
Currently in 7th, Cavalier Commandos. On paper, the Cavalier Commandos should be heavily favored this week as they take on a Shitehawk squad that boasts a pedestrian 1 win, 4 losses, 2 tie record. However, these same Shitehawks defeated the Blitzkrieg Jezebels in Week 6 and pushed the Executive Outcomes for a competitive matchup in Week 5. Sorry, that was Week 7 that they beat the Jezebels. But either way, this is not that week. This is not the same team that has been playing the first half of the season. A Cavalier Commandos win will see them situated in either 6th place with a Blitzkrieg Jezebels loss or tie, or 7th place if the Jezebels also secure a victory. Cavalier Commandos tie will see them placed between 7th and 9th. Their exact placing would depend on the results of the Ghost Legion versus Merrick Marauders and the First Clovis Lancers versus Clan Cobra Chickens. Ghost Legion loss, unlikely, coupled with the tie between the Lancers and the Chickens would leave Cavalier Commandos in 7th. At the same time, either a Ghost Legion victory or a decisive result between the Chickens and the Lancers would leave the Commandos in 8th. Ghost Legion win, paired with a decisive result between the Chickens and the Lancers, would see the Commandos tumble all the way to 9th, and potentially miss the playoffs by a whisker.
The Cavalier Commandos' loss would see them placed between 8th and 10th, with the Commandos still holding on to the 8th spot with a Ghost Division loss and a decisive outcome between the Clan Cobra Chickens and the First Clovis Lancers. If the Ghost Legion wins the game, impossible, then a decisive result between the Chickens and Lancers would result in the Commandos slipping to 9th. Even if the Ghost Legion loses, a tie between the Chickens and Lancers would still slide the Commandos into 9th. And for the Commandos' worst possible result, a Ghost Legion win coupled with a tie between the Chickens and Lancers would drop the Commandos into 10th place and virtually out of the A-side playoffs.
8th spot being held by the Ghost Legion. In one of Week 8's marquee matchups, the white-hot, lucky Ghost Legion surge into view this week to take on the equally lucky Merrick's Marauders, who are eyeing up first place. Never going to happen. This week, though, the game is about more than just playoff positioning. This game is a podcast host against podcast host, admin versus admin, culminating in a season worth of shit-talking bravado and posturing. Furthermore, Merrick's Marauders Stable Master Lee has never defeated Ghost Legion Stable Master Brett, which is very hard to believe, but it is true. The stakes could not be higher for either team. A win for the Ghost Legion would put them anywhere between 6th and 9th place. To rise to 6th, the Ghost Legion would need Blitzkrieg Jezebels to lose and the Cavalier Commandos to lose or tie. That ain't going to happen. Cavalier Commandos, there's your winners. They'd also need the Clan Cobra Chickens and the 1st Clovis Lancers to end in a draw. Again, ain't going to happen. Cobra Chickens going to lose. Or the Ghost Legion would need to maintain their kills to death advantage over the winning squad. A win by either the Blitzkrieg Jezebels or Cavalier Commandos would cap the Ghost Legion at 7th place. A win by both would allow the Ghost Legion to maintain 8th as long as they don't get surpassed by the potential winner of the Chickens and Lancers in a KD. A Ghost Legion win, along with the win for the Cavalier Commandos, Blitzkrieg Jezebels, and a leapfrog from either the Cobra Chickens or Force Cobus Lancers would leave them out in the cold at 9th. A Ghost Legion tie would lead them to finish in 7th or 8th place. A loss for the Cavalier Commandos, ain't going to happen, and a tie between the 1st Clovis Lancers and the Cobra Chickens would allow the Ghost Legion to sneak their way into 7th, all to better the Haunt the League's elite teams. 8th place could be maintained with a Cavalier Commandos win or tie between. The Chickens and Lancers, or a Cavalier Commandos loss, coupled with a decisive result between 1st Clovis and Clan Cobra Chicken. A Ghost Legion loss would leave them somewhere between 9th and 12th, essentially dead in the playoff race. Losing would allow the Crimson Ronin and Einhiljar to pass them with wins, and the Clan Cobra Chickens and 1st Clovis Lancers pass them with either a win or a tie. The only situation that would see the Ghost Division potentially survive a loss would be a decisive result between the Clovis Lancers and the Cobra Chicken, paired with losses for the Crimson Ronin and Einhiljar. However, this would still leave the Ghost Division needing a playoff team to drop from the playoffs for their season to continue.
10th, 11th, Clan Cobra Chickens, 1st Clovis Lancers. The most impactful game of the week is between the 1st Clovis Lancers and Clan Cobra Chickens. Classic battle of youthful exuberance and swagger against experience and cunning. We're not going to say what kind of experiences the Clan Cobra Chickens have been having. Neither of these teams control their playoff destinies, as both require a win or a tie and some help from other teams to find themselves inside the top 8 spots. The two have also been grouped for prosperity's sake, as their situations are identical and super close. The only difference is the Cobra Chickens holding a tiebreaker between the two teams because of their one extra kill.
A win for either team would set up a situation where they will finish between 6th and 9th. To finish 6th, the team will need all of the following to occur. Blitzkrieg Jezebels lose. The Cavalier Commandos lose or tie. Ghost Legion loss, tie, or win by a small enough margin that the winning team overtakes the Ghost Legion in KDs. 7th place would be achieved by 2 of the preceding scenarios being achieved, and if only one of the preceding scenarios is achieved, the winner between the Lancers and the Chickens will finish 8th. If none of these things happen, then even despite a win, either team would find themselves on the outside looking in on 9th place.
A tie between the two teams will finish either 7th, 8th, or 8th, 9th, 9th, and 10th, as noted earlier. Clan Cobra Chickens hold the tiebreaker, as their 13 kills beat out the 1st Clovis Lancers' 12 kills. To finish 7th and 8th, the Chickens and Lancers would need both the Cavalier Commandos and the Ghost Legion to lose their games. Either of those two teams scoring a win, with the other losing, would leave the Chickens and the Lancers in 8th and 9th, almost outside of playoffs, with the Lancers narrowly missing that last playoff spot. And wins and ties for both the Ghost Legion and Cavalier Commandos would leave Clan Cobra Chickens in 9th and the Lancers in 10th. If there's a decisive result, the losing team will be eliminated from playoff contention and will finish between 9th and 12th, depending on the results of the Ghost Legion, Einherjar, and Crimson Ronin. A lopsided Ghost Legion loss, combined with the losses or ties of the Einherjar and the Ronin, could potentially leave the losing team in 9th, just outside of a playoff spot, barring anyone having to miss playoffs.
12th spot, we have the young rookie sensation, the Crimson Ronin. Crimson Ronin enter Week 8 with their A-side playoff hopes on life support. While not mathematically eliminated, they need a win over the scrappy Carstairs stables and oodles of help to sniff A-side playoffs. With a win, Crimson Ronin could finish anywhere between 8th to 13th. To finish 8th, the Ronin need the following to occur. Clan Cobra Chicken, First Clovis Lancers must tie, and at least one of these scenarios must have the Cavalier Commandos lose their game or the Ghost Legion must lose. The Crimson Ronin must move ahead of the team that loses on KD.
Even a tie will eliminate the Crimson Ronin from A-side playoff contention, and a loss will eliminate the Crimson Ronin from A-side playoff contention. They really do need to win these games, and they've got to hope some teams that have some advantages going into their games lose. It's going to be a tough row.
13th, the Einherjar. The Einherjar are mathematically eliminated from a top 8 finish due to their low number of wins. Situation does not exist where they would hold the tiebreaker for 8th position. However, there is a situation where the Einherjar could end up in 9th.
To finish in that 9th place spot, particular variables must be achieved. The Einherjar must win combined with all of the following scenarios. Ghost Legion loss, which is going to happen. Clan Cobra Chicken or First Clovis Lancer win. A Crimson Ronin loss or tie.
That pretty much takes us into the playoff contentions. The rest of the teams will lay out and show up for our Division 2 runner-up title, but we'll get into that a little bit later next time.
On tonight's podcast, our guest is going to be Connor, the gentleman you may have noticed walking around taking photographs in our last game day.
Lee, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on, Connor. You kind of earned the right to be in here by donating an entire day of your time taking photographs of the Game 7 League Day. I know you'd offered it earlier, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, sure, and I didn't really get back to you a lot about it, because I'm like, well, really, is he going to show up and spend 8 hours or 6 hours photographing a bunch of guys sitting around rolling dice? And when you actually showed up...
underestimate my nerd power.
Yeah, it was awesome. When you actually showed up, I was like, oh, awesome, this is great. And then you took like 500 photos, so that's... Brett's got a lot of work ahead of him.
500 photos that I dumped on someone else.
And so did I. So, I have a few questions to ask you, easy and simple ones. How did you get into Battletech?
Oh, okay, so for our listeners out there, some of you are about to feel really old. I'm sorry, not really. Do you remember a little game called MechWarrior 2? When that came out back in 1995?
Yep.
I remember my introduction to Battletech was playing MechWarrior 2. I was 3 years old, sitting on my dad's lap, playing MechWarrior 2 on the computer, and my only job was to push the button to make the blinky lights go. That was my introduction to Battletech. And then from there, it was on and off finding little like MechWarrior games, like MechWarrior Lone Wolf. But I didn't really connect that was attached to the Battletech universe. There was no one in my area who played Battletech, who could introduce me to Battletech. Growing up in rural Alberta, it was, when I was still young, it was kind of seen as a shameful thing to be associated with nerdy hobbies. You know, I had one friend that I played Warhammer with, and that was it.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember the D&D purgings, like back when they tried to call D&D as a satanic game. So, yeah, the fact that it was socially unacceptable to be seen playing games, I remember all that era.
Yeah. So. But when I heard about the Battletech game by Harebrained Schemes that came out, I went, hey, this is cool. I'm going to take a... Wait, I know those. And so that's when 2 and 2 finally put together for me. And I found out about the Kickstarter from CGL, and I just went, you know what, this is my childhood. We'll get the Game of Armored Combat box set and dip our toes into the water. And now 8 Lances and 2 Stars and Clan Invasion box set and a Game of Armored Combat later, I'm going, okay, well, that happened.
When did you first hear about Calgary Battletech League, since you're kind of new to the game itself? And what drew you towards the league?
Oh boy. Finding the Calgary Battletech League was more than anything a case of following the trail of breadcrumbs. I got into the Everything Battletech Facebook group, and then I found the Calgary Battletech Facebook group, and I tried to find a couple of people who I could maybe get games in with that. And it just became one of those follow-on trickle effects where eventually somebody was like, hey, there's a Calgary Battletech League. Why don't you go give them a look? And I jumped onto the Facebook page, and I'm like, oh, holy crap, look at all this. And then I ended up finding the Canadian Battletech Regiment Discord, which I found out a bunch of the guys from the league were on the Discord as well. I ended up basically just having to Clouseau my way into finding where you guys were going to be, who was going to be there, and what could I do, how could I help? Because I wanted to get involved, but I also knew that you're in the middle of the season. So what can I do to be a presence and get involved without jumping in and being like, haha, I've introduced a whole new lance.
Yeah, the one thing we can't do, unfortunately, with the way the league is set up, is have a player join in partway through. We don't really have a open door policy. Once you've gotten into league, you're in.
Yeah.
And then if you want to jump in after the fact, you got to wait till the next season.
Yeah.
So,
well, I figured I'd show up, and I would bring my gear, and I would also bring some of the mechs that I had and stuff like that, just in case somebody had time to maybe get in a game or something. But honestly, just showing up and being able to take pictures of the games that were in progress, talk to some of the players, and really kind of get a feel for the group. Once I had that opportunity to spend the time with everybody, just take the day and hang out, I went, oh, these are actually people that I will want to spend time with and I'll want to play with, and I don't mind giving up a full day to come hang out and do nerd things. You know?
That's an amazing compliment, actually. When a new player or somebody not experienced with League can walk in and say, hey, I would sit down on a table with these strangers and play this game with them, that's a massively good compliment, because there's a lot of communities out there, gaming communities, that people feel very nervous about joining.
Oh, absolutely. And especially when it's somebody like me joining, because I know that I have a tendency to come in with this very big aura and personality. And I kind of walk in like a whirlwind, as it were.
That's perfect. We have a few people in League that are very similar. They're bigger than life almost, and that's fun. That's actually causes such an amazing amount of positive feedback.
Yeah.
So,
well, the way I always say it is, everybody's a stranger, but hardly anyone's stranger than me.
You're gonna fit in just perfectly. Since you're relatively new to the fluff and the background of BattleTech, though it does sound like you're quite knowledgeable about it, what era interests you in BattleTech? And do you have a favorite faction?
Boy. I have. Oh boy, that's going to be a tough one to get started with. As for a favorite era, I do not have a favorite era. I think each of the eras have their own things that are really unique and interesting about them, lore-wise. The Succession Wars eras are a very almost like European Civil War style technological backslide. Everyone's doing these covert, knife in the back campaigns. And then the clan era comes in, and it is just full on total war. First World War, like, we're going to go ham, and Space AT&T is going to come in and slap the clans back off Tukid. I haven't delved that much into Dark Age and Ilclan because I am still very new at it. But what I can say is, out of all of that, what I've picked up are two things. I do have a favorite clan. Clan Wolverine, at me in the comments. And
you and Jacque will get along very well.
And my favorite of the Inner Sphere factions is the Taurian Concordat. You can hippity hoppity get off my property.
Fantastic, love it. I'm a Clan Ghost Bear and Federated Sons fan. So that's where I go in those.
Okay, so that means we have a problem.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm willing to settle it at the table. So
You're on.
So you came and took a bunch of photographs for us, which I really appreciate. And once Brett finally goes through those photos, we'll get them into the podcast. People will be viewing them this week. What was your experience like during your time with us? Photographing the league can be a bit of a challenge. What was your plan going into it?
Well, my experience-wise, like I've said, I had a great time. I loved meeting everybody. I loved getting a chance to just kind of talk to everyone. And once I think people started to get a little more familiar with my presence there, they started to open up, and they really started to try and get me involved in what was going on in their games. And I had a few guys pointing us like, oh yeah, this just happened. Get a picture of that. And as for having a plan, I came into it like how I come into most things in life, with absolutely no plan whatsoever. Let's fly by the seat of our pants and see how this goes. And basically, can I make them look good?
From what I saw, from what you're showing me on your camera and the little tidbits there, they look great. And we really appreciate it because it allowed those of us in the admin to kind of focus on our games that were going on without having to get up every couple of turns. It was really good. And thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, not a problem. I tried to get a bit of a combination of overhead, just sort of get the strategic layout of what's going on, and then maybe get down and get close and get a couple of little action shot kind of things, and just see what I could do, like I said, to make everything and everyone look good.
So, to wrap things up, do you have any comments for the current players and any words to describe your coming to the league next season?
You guys are going to want to get ready. I've watched you, I've listened to the podcast, and I'm going to be using this time to study what you do, figure out what makes you tick, and find out how I can pick you apart. So good luck next season. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, sounds like the coming of the clans. You might be able to take over the 55th Shadow Division's mantle of being the most hated league.
You will not dare refuse my batch all.
Perfect. And when it comes right down to it, just so you're aware, the 55th Shadow Division is one of the most loved members of League. He's definitely been a avid member. We just like busting people's chops. So Connor, thank you so much for allowing me to interview. This has been amazing.
Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
And I look forward to seeing you at, you're welcome to come to League anytime, but I really look forward to seeing you playing next season.
Well, I'm looking forward to coming down and putting together my little dossiers on everybody, so that when it comes time for the next season, I can hopefully know what I'm doing.
That's awesome. Make sure you don't get in touch with Steven. He's got so much information he could provide you, it'd be sickening. So make sure you don't get in touch with Steven.
Figure out which one is Steven.
55th Shadow Division.
Okay, brilliant.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me today.
All right. Thank you very much for having me on, Lee.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, with a wonderful season going, we're going to be looking at the final week of regular season gameplay. This leads us into week 8 matches with some major possibility of movement again. Game number 1, we see the Clan Cobra Chickens, 3 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. They're facing off against the First Clovis Lancers, also 3 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. Chickens are coming off on a win, and the Lancers are feeling the sting of defeat. Both teams playing for a playoff spot.
I'm not sure the Cobra...
I got my prediction.
Yeah, sorry, just
I get
dog
to put
distracted me.
Yeah, sure.
You still get to talk.
Yeah. So, in this situation, I'm going for the 3 C's, Clan Cobra Chickens. As much as Jacque and a few other people are starting to push down on these guys, they have a chance of making the playoffs. They just need things to go right. If anything, let's get them a point of pride of finishing off the regular season with a win. Clan Cobra Chickens, we're going to go 2-1 simply because they're both going to be playing really tentatively.
I'm not sure the Cobra Chickens have anything left in the tank. No. Man. I got to go with Clovis Lancers this week. Going to choke the Cobra Chicken for a 3-2 kapow victory.
Chickens are done. They pulled off a win, but that was fate. Pure luck. Fate. Pure and simple. They're done. Clovis Lancers are taking this one. They're going on to the playoffs. Cobra Chicken, pack your bags. You out of here.
Moving into game number 2. We have the Blitzkrieg Jezebels with 3 wins, 1 loss, and 3 ties. They face off against Riston's Rogues. 5 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. I'm going to put a quick throw of cash in this. And this is big. I'm going to put the whole 100,000 C-bills that I've been winning over the season, and I'm going to put it down on the Blitzkrieg Jezebels, surprising everybody and taking down the once number 1 team in the league.
Riston's got his playoff spot locked down tight, but the Jezebels could still be in it to win it if they pull out a win this week. This is going to be a game to watch for the fans. Regardless of how it flames out, both stable masters will have a great day. I suspect 3-2 victory for Riston's Rogues.
Well, hopefully the money you put down on the Blitzkrieg Jezebels sets off the money you're going to lose on the Clover Chickens. I don't know who to call. Both teams are really good. Riston's Rogues have had a hell of a run, but the Jezebels have been playing spoiler. I'm going to say the Jezebels aren't going to take this one, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be a 1-0 or 2-1.
Game number 3. We see the Red Suns Irregulars, 1 win, 5 losses, and a single tie, up against our Bouncin' Bunnies, Killer Bunnies, with 2 wins, 5 losses, and no ties. They played a win or lose. They go hard out. My money's going to be on the Red Suns Irregulars. They're a tough team. They got something to prove and something to win for. While the Killer Bunnies have just been sliding, their luck is turned. I think those rabbit feet have finally gone a little bit sour.
This is totally a tough one to call. Red Suns have had some tough opponents this season. Hooper Sink, Blitzkrieg Jezebels, to name just a few. But I think the ladies might be the kryptonite that blocks out the Red Sun. This Superman is going down swinging, but the Bunnies' bad luck won't hold any longer. 4-3 Bunny victory here.
Yeah, it was pure fate that intervened in the Bunnies' loss last time. But they won't have to worry about fate this time. They're going to go after the Red Suns Regulars, and they're going to come out, I'm going to say 3-2.
Well, we move on to game number 4. The Cavalier Commandos, 3 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties, who have only lost 8 mechs all season. Extremely good defensive team. They know how to protect their mechs. They're facing off against the Shitehawks with 1 win, their first win happening last week, 4 losses, and 2 ties, who have also only lost 10 mechs so far this season. So both mechs are looking to pull a back-to-back victory going into the playoffs. My money is going to go on to the Cavalier Commandos. I think they're going to move up in the playoffs and lock into that A side.
Both of these teams are slow, methodical fighters. Not really super flashy games for the fans to watch, but both stable managers walk away having a good time, and their techs love it because they've got limited repairs that they got to worry about. My money's on the Cavalier Commandos here this week for a back-to-back win, although it's probably going to be another 2-0 or 2-1 victory. Definitely going to be a tight game.
You all know what I'm going to say. Cavalier Commandos all the way. These guys are your playoff Cinderella team. Come out of nowhere, and they're going to take it all. I am certain of it. They got the drive. They got the heart. They got the desire. Going to be a 3-2 victory for a hard-fought Cavalier Commando win.
Game number 5. The Einhajar, 1 win, 2 losses, and 4 ties. They're up against a tough team this week, the 55th Shadow Division. Our number 1 team going into the final week with 6 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties. I have to say this is one of the times, just like with last week's Rogues loss, I have to bet against the favored team. The Einhajar fight tough. They step up to the challenge, and they will beat teams who, on paper and on experience, should be able to beat them without too much trouble. They're going to step it up. It's going to be a 3-2 win for the Einhajar.
I'm going to steal a page out of your book here, Lee, and agree with you today. Write it in the calendar. I agreed with you. I think this could be the Shadow Division's toughest game yet. Chris has a tendency to really step up his game based on his opponent. I'm not sure it'll be enough. Shadow Division win 3-2 or 4-3 victory here, depending on the field of battle.
Wobbies are going down. They're going to come up against the Berserker Rage of the Einhiljar. Odin will smile on them. They will crush the Shadow Division 3-0.
I really think we had to cut down on the caffeine we give Jacque before these recordings, Brett.
Yeah, he needs to have a little bit shorter leash.
Game number 6. The Draconis Spirits with 0 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. They're up against the Macross Stables with 0 wins, 4 losses, and 3 ties. There are only winless teams this season, and we're going to see that change. I don't think we're going to have a tie. My bet in this one, the Draconis Spirit are ready to go. They've been learning throughout the season. They've been honing their skill purchases, learning from the admin and other players on what they should be doing and how they should be spending their skill points. I'm going to say that Draconis Spirits pull out their first win of the season with a 2-1 win.
These are our teams fighting for the wooden spoon and possibly first round draft pick season 2. I have no doubt about that this will be a game where everyone smiles, has some fun, and walks away at the end of the day. The Draconis Spirits are taking home some V today. 2-1 victory for those Comstar boys slipping out of the Draconis Combine.
Yeah, the Spirits are going to get the W. They've been wanting it. They've been after it. They've made some mistakes in their positioning, letting their opponents take advantage of them, but they've learned from the mistakes. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory as well for the Spirits. They're going to get the W.
Game number 7. We've got the Carstairs Stables, 2 wins, 4 losses, and a tie, up against the Crimson Ronin. 2 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties, who need this win. Absolutely, desperately need this win. It's the battle of the rookies. Rookie of the year on the line here, possibly, folks. My bet is going to be the Crimson Ronin are going to pull it super tight. They're going to fight each other to a standstill on a 2-2 tie.
I love both these guys. Great additions to the league. Wonderful to have around and great sports. If the Crimson Ronin don't win, though, he is on kitchen duty for a week, so he better bring home some bacon. 3-2 Ronin victory, clearly, he's going to pull out a head cap on the Thunderbolt. The Wolverine is going down to mass fire, and then maybe he manages to pick off the Battlemaster. In return, he's going to lose the Hunchback and the Crusader. Yep, I'm calling it right down to the mechs that will die this week, folks.
Yeah, that's just not fair, threatening the boy with KP, Brett. Come on. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys take a duke out. You've got 2 of the guys looking at a possible winning Division 2 playoffs for the runner-up trophy. Rookie of the year, both teams, both well fought. They're going to be having some fun on this map. Crimson Ronin, they're going to take it. I'm going to say they'll take it 2-1. Both teams are going to play it smart, but in the end, it's going to be the Ronin coming out. Now remember, teams ranked 9th to 16th will be playing for the runner-up trophy. So even if they don't make the A-side playoffs, they're still in the running for a trophy.
Game number 8. We have the battle-hungry executive outcome. 5 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. Up to the cream of the crop, the Hubris Inc. stable. 5 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. Battling in the top 4. I'm going to, not surprisingly, give this game to the Hubris Inc. They don't lose often. They don't lose pretty. And they really don't like ties. She's going to take a win against the executive outcome. It's going to be a horrible, horrible beatdown. Both teams are going to be bloody and raw. 4-3 for the Hubris Inc.
I've played both these teams this year. Both are good. Hubris Inc. is out to have fun, but is lucky. Executive Outcome is out to win, but is also here to have fun. Another tight game that could go, in theory, either way, with the swing vote being decided by the dice that decide the map. I gotta say, this is probably going to be a 3-2 victory, Hubris Inc.
This one's going to be a knockdown, drag out street brawl. That's all I got to say about it. Both teams are just amazing. They've got great tactics. They know the field. They know their mechs. It's going to be brutal. I'm going to call this one for the executive outcome, but it's going to be a 4-3 hard-fought win. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this takes us to game number 9. And you know I have been waiting to talk about this one because my two co-host stables, league admins, are going at it. If any match in this season the commission is going to take a look at to make sure it's a decent and fair outcome, it's going to be this one. This is going to be the Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello match. It's going to be the computer geeks that you picked on in high school doing their slap fights across the computers, picking at each other's pocket protectors. This one is going to be comedy, pure and simple. No matter who wins, no matter who loses, it's the fans that are going to have the joy of laughing at it. This one is going to be a draw, pure and simple. It's going to be a 2-2 draw, paid actors on both sides. That's what it's going to be.
Marauders? Nah, man. More like chum. Merrick, chum in the water, getting the Sharks riled up, hungry for a playoff spot.
I've done the math, Brett. It doesn't matter. Whether I win or lose, you can't beat me. I'm going to be in the top 5. You're going to be lucky to make the playoffs, man. I've talked to our technicians. I've talked to our scientists and our mathematicians. You can't do it. You can't beat me this year. You got the team, but you don't have the skill, man. It's all Merrick's way.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give next week's Jacque Award of Talk Shit and Get Hit to both these stables right here, right now, because that's what's going to happen.
Do you have a prediction, Jacque?
Oh, I told you. This is going to come down to a draw. No
Really?
winner.
You
No
think we're
winner.
going to tie this game?
You guys are going to tie this.
Only if it's a 4-4 tie.
You are
Pure
lucky I'm
tie.
high, man. You are lucky I'm high.
You're always high.
This is
No,
going to be
2-0.
a 3-1 win for the Marauders.
No. 2-2 tie. And both of those mech deaths on either side are going to be from you screwing up the piloting rules, falling down, and finding that big, sharp rock. That's how it's going to be.
I pulled 4-0 in my last 2 matches. This one's coming down 4-2, though. You're going down, Lee. Going down like a drunk man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the epitome of talk shit and get hit.
In summary of this phenomenally great season, I want to thank everybody. It's been a ton of fun. We probably won't be getting any recording done before the new year. We just want to thank all of you for joining us so far. Have a great Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you guys next weekend.
You fans have been amazing this season. You've shown us love. You've shown us appreciation. And for that, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. This is Jacque wishing all of you Merry Christmas, Blessed Yule, Happy Hanukkah, a joyous Kwanzaa. Stay safe over the holidays, people. See you in the new year.
It's been a lot of fun so far for everyone. Running herd on Captain Mechs, trying to make sure everyone's games are arranged when life gets in the way, skill spends are submitted on time, and mostly valid or accurate. Math is hard, okay? But overall, looking forward to the playoff season. See you all in January. Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night and lights out.